Dr. Nida Masroor with another brainstorming session of being entrepreneur. Today we are going to discuss the effect of climatic conditions or natural environment on our preferences while designing a product or the preferences of consumers while using any commodity. For instance, if I say, okay, right now we are having the diversified product preferences over the world because of the global warming processes. The climatic conditions are getting changed. In any area, in any country, it's the natural environment that defines the resources available to the organizations for manufacturing a product. Once. Another thing, it's the climatic conditions, it's the natural environment that also defines the preferences of customers. For example, which food to eat, which fabric to wear, what kind of shoes I want to carry, keeping in mind the exposure with the sunlight, keeping in mind the harshness of climate in that particular country. It's also the climatic conditions that defines the nature of housing. If we are living in a cold areas, we get to have the wooden houses in order to provide insulation. Whereas in like warm climates or hot climates, we used to have the cement-based houses, or we used to have the mud-based houses to keep it cool with marble flooring and everything. So let's keep in mind the fact that every sector, every organization has to understand the climatic conditions in a depth to better understand the product preferences. For example, if I'm going to buy any kind of cosmetics, I'll have to keep in mind the effect of those chemicals on our hair, on our skin. If I'm living in a warm climate, in that case, whether I'm going to go for aqua-based cosmetics or oil-based cosmetics, whereas in case of cold areas, it will for sure be the oil-based cosmetics. These things that should be kept in consideration. Obviously, in warm climates, we prefer to eat foods that keep our temperature moderate. For example, like I would prefer to go for shakes, smoothies, milkshakes, and the foods with less spices, more if we talk about the people living in like cold areas, they prefer to have spicy food with a lot of oil to provide them fat and warmth in winter, whereas the same cannot be done in warm climates. Rather, that will result in accumulation of fats, and spices will result in like kind of dehydration for those. So for every sector, the customer preferences vary. It's also it has an effect on the supplier availability. Obviously, it's the nature of resources that are provided to the organization that help them make the profits. If I'm provided with kind of Mediterranean trees, if I'm provided with the kind of alpine trees, if I'm provided with kind of animals, diversified birds. So what kind of habitat do we have in our areas? What kind of animals do we have in our areas? That matters a lot in an organization. The designing of product also matters a lot. The cars with air conditioning or the cars with heaters, the open spaces, the closed ones. So every organization needs to understand what particular climate they are living in, what should be the product attributes as per the climatic conditions, what are the resources available to them, what should be the kind of infrastructure they have to build in order to deal with the natural environment. Like obviously your infrastructure should be in accordance with the climatic conditions, the natural environment, whether that be a closed space, whether that be an open space, or if we talk about the distribution channel infrastructure, what should be the style, the portal, and everything. So whenever we talk about the environment analysis for designing any kind of products, for conducting our business in any certain areas, that is incomplete without having an in-depth understanding of the climatic conditions, the weather preferences, and the more you study your product and the environment that is required to deal with that thing. Even in paint sector, paint industry, what if I'm living in humid climatic areas and the paint my company is manufacturing is not able to deal with the humidity? So in humid climate areas, I'll have to design a different kind of paint, that is oil-based paint, to increase its long lastingness. Same is the matter with the jewelry. If I'm living in humid areas, humid climatic areas, whether the jewelry, the paint applied on jewelries, the metals I'm using, or the paint applied on cars, anything like that. So there is no depth, there is no limit of depth in that particular understanding or analysis. So I hope you got a better understanding of the depth of climatic considerations whenever you are designing your product, because those considerations play a very pivotal role in providing comfort or discomfort to your customers and defining the success of your organization ultimately. So that has to be kept in consideration. Good luck with the next episode. See you then, inshallah. Allah Hafiz.